EverQuest 2 players that played with their family and friends showed reduced loneliness in comparison to those who played with strangers. EverQuest 2 playtime intruded on time spent with family if players did not play with their family, but playing EverQuest 2 increased family communication time for those who played with their family. In addition, in EverQuest 2, sending more messages and having an increased number of unique game partners that one received messages from was linked to loneliness. Though this seems paradoxical, it might be that players that spent more time and had more unique game partners were actually making shallow connections to other players, or it could be that players with problematic psychosocial tendencies like shyness or depression spent more time playing online games like EverQuest 2 and making more connections, but ended up lonelier nonetheless. In addition, increased social online video gameplay was associated with smaller and lower quality offline social circles, according to a study done by Coward and Associates in the year 2014. Time spent playing online games may result in social displacement effects or trade-offs between offline connections for newly formed online connections. Another factor to consider in the formation of relationships among unacquainted gamers is connected to the fact that gamers can exchange verbal messages, but they can also communicate creatively and at times even non-verbally. For example, players can communicate something through avatar design based on their online names or based on the logos that they design for their avatar or team. For example, a menacing-looking avatar might be used as a way of intimidating foes, or the name Trick Daddy may imply that you are in the presence of an experienced player. Also, players may use funny or countercultural logos that may say something about the player and may say something about what they value and their background. Players also use relational messages, like for example, wordplay seems to be important when communicating in online games. Being humorous also seems to be important, cracking jokes. The work of Robert Bales back in the 1950s would show that communication can be broadly classified into two main content categories. For example, when people are trying to get something done, people may exchange task-oriented messages, meaning that people may ask questions and try to receive answers about a particular task or procedure. People may give each other commands or opinions or information, or people may ask for a particular command or ask for an opinion or give particular information. How do I perform a special move in the game? How can I get an extra life for my character? Those are all task-oriented questions. Also, according to the work of Robert Bales, the way in which people communicate when trying to get something done can also be socio-emotional in nature. Social and emotional messages can be positive when people express support to each other, when they show agreement and say yes, nicely done, etc. And also when people joke around or just laugh about. Also, people may exchange negative socio-emotional messages, as for example showing antagonism or disagreeing with someone, or showing tension or disinterest in what's going on. One key example of this idea is connected to a famous internet meme called Leroy Jenkins. For example, the Leroy Jenkins video shows players strategizing when playing World of Warcraft, and while they're strategizing, one of the players, Leroy Jenkins, was not listening to the conversation and rushed headlong to tackle a nearly unbeatable World of Warcraft boss. What you can see in that video are instances of players strategizing, basically exchanging task-oriented messages, and also players exchanging a lot of socio-emotional messages, particularly negative socio-emotional messages when things went sour. I invite you to check out that video and take a look at how the work of Robert Bales can be applied to analyzing communication patterns in the context of online games.